Hello, Chattanooga. You're listening to AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Clutch with Keon Rose. That's this show. Nooga Radio is our station, and NoogaRadio.com is our wonderful website that has links to all of our social media. You can also listen to all of our programming live whenever you want to. Whenever you want to. This is about you. All of this song and dance, it's about you. Let's just jump right into it, because there is a quote yesterday that's been going around. It's from Jamal Adams, who was drafted by the New York Giants. He's a safety, and he played at LSU. And the quote that's been going around, involves Jamal Adams and his preference of life in playing the game of football, especially in light of a lot of these studies that have been coming out about the connections of football to CTE. And Jamal Adams did say, among other things, that he would rather die on the football field. Like, he couldn't think of a worse place to die. Like, I can think of, or a better place to die. I can think of plenty of better places to die than a football field, but presumably, surrounded by loved ones and things of that nature. I mean, there's plenty of better places to die than a football field. That being said, he was kind of getting killed for it, because like it is a ridiculous thing to say. It is a thing that's very hyperbolic, and it's also a thing that when you look at the way that other guys have lived, and other guys have gone through certain levels of pain and certain levels of memory loss and certain levels of depression that come with the constant brain trauma of playing football, for you to say that you can't think of a better place to die than on a football field is and does come across as particularly highly insensitive. That being said, he is 22 years old, okay? And I think that you've got to cut him some slack on that. I'm 27. I'm not even that far removed from it. Now, I've had death in my family to where I feel like I have a pretty decent scale of death. I don't take death lightly. But 22-year-old guys have a tendency to take death lightly. This idea that somehow you will not die, right? Or you're not worried about dying. Well, of course you're not worried about dying. You're not close to it, okay? Let's revisit this again when Jamal Adams is 62 and not 22, right? In 40 years, is Jamal Adams thinking that the risk that he took playing football will have been worth it? I don't know. And I'm not suggesting that he wasn't serious. In fact, I'm suggesting, in fact, that he meant it, but that he is 22 years old. And if there's anything you know about 22-year-old guys, it is that they cannot scale their lives with the concept of death properly. This is why 22-year-old guys are dangerous. I don't know any way to say that. A lot of my friends in their early 20s do what? Party constantly and drink their livers into oblivion. There's an idea that at 18 years old, you become a man, and that's true. But at 18 years old, your brain is not fully developed. And from what we understand, what the science tells us, your brain will not be fully developed until you're 24 years old if you're a guy. Okay? Your brain is developing that entire time. It's not done. And if you're a parent, I'm sure you know this, car insurance. Your teenage son, your 20-year-old son, your 22-year-old son, car insurance higher or lower than your daughter? It's higher. Why? Because car insurance companies know what we all ought to know about early 20-year-old guys, which is that they're dumb usually, right? Like every now and then you get a guy that's brilliant, right? Like our news director, Russell Stroud, is incredibly intelligent and mature beyond his age entirely. Like just one of the smartest guys I've ever met. But for every guy like him, there are 10 dopes that don't know anything about anything. And I'm not suggesting that Jamal Adams is a stupid dope. But what I'm saying is he's a 20-year-old guy and a 22-year-old guy. And maybe Jamal Adams knows a lot about the world and a lot about life, but his understanding of death does not seem to match up with the rest of it. And to be fair, he's not the only one. right? Like, this is what it is to be a 22-year-old guy. The reason why young men go off and fight wars is in large part because their scale of death is not like the rest of ours. Like, you couldn't convince most people to go off and fight in a war and convince them that that's a good idea, and and based on the say-so of some dude you've never met. But you can convince a young guy to do it. And you can convince them with things like glory and honor, which, by the way, are things that are connected very heavily to the game of football. That there is a lot of glory and a lot of honor, because when Jamal Adams said, "There's no better place that I can think of to die on a football field," the thing that amazed me, and when you hear the audio clip, is people start clapping when he says that. They start to clap. So what does that tell you? I mean, it's not a mentality that just he alone has, that there is a level of honor and there's a level of valor that we ascribe to the game of football. And maybe not even just football, sports that we see as combat sports, right? Because football is very physical in nature. You get injured, you get beaten up, you fight and push through injuries. Boxing, mixed martial arts, kickboxing, wrestling, all of these fighting combat sports where you are essentially in danger constantly. There's a level of honor and valor that we attach to those sports that we don't attach to baseball, right? Like, if somebody said, "I can't think of any other place I'd rather die than on the baseball field," it doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't have the same ring to it that laying down your life on a football field has. Right? Like, the football, the combat, the collisions, that is what sells the honor and what sells the valor of the game, which I think we put a very high price on, and probably to the detriment of a lot of players, right? I can think of plenty of places that you could die better than a football field, right? And people have died playing football. Very young people have died playing football, and it's always a tragedy every single time, had their entire lives ahead of them. So if there was no better place than to die there, then we wouldn't feel that sense of tragedy every single time, right? We don't look at somebody playing football, because there's a number of high school kids that have died playing football, and a number of college kids who have died playing football, and a lot of young NFL pros who've been paralyzed and killed playing football. And we never say of those people, "Well, he was just doing what he loved." No, it's a tragedy all the time, which tells me that there's plenty of better places to lose your life than on a football field. Now, with that being said, like, if someone were to note all of the risks of playing football and you decide to go on ahead and play it, to say, "You know what, I understand the risks, but I like the honor, I like the respect, I like the valor that I get from the game," that's a different thing entirely. I just wouldn't say, "Yeah, no better place to die." I can't agree with that, but I can also say that the guy's 22 years old, and that is exactly the kind of thing that a 22-year-old would say. Right? Most 22-year-olds would say that. And I say this as a guy, when I was 22 years old, our news director, Russell Stroud, as I said, is one of the smartest people that I know. I was not that smart when I was 22. Like, looking back on my life, I know I was an idiot. I was a guy that I knew a lot of information, but I didn't know how to apply any of it. I had already seen death in my life, so I don't think I had the same view of death. It's not as cavalier with me. But that being said, it's still one of those crazy things when you hear it said out loud, you're just like, what? There's no way. There's no way. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. I could never imagine saying that, but I also want to cut the guy some slack because, you know, he's 22. He's 22 and he loves the game. And, you know, I love radio. I love being on the air. I love preparing for this show. I have notes and notes and notes. I have murdered 2 entire notebooks this year of just notes for this show. Someone said, hey, there's a chance that you could die being on the air. I I say this as a person who I'm 27. I'm not that far away from Jamal Adams. I would have to think about it. Being on the air could shorten your lifespan, right? This thing that you love to do, that you feel like you're good at, that you feel like this is what you've wanted to do your whole life, because I have wanted to do radio my whole life. It's been a lifelong dream for me. This is my dream job. I'm actually doing my dream job, which a lot of people don't get to do. And I understand that feeling of wanting to do something your whole life, understanding that not a lot of people get the opportunity to do that thing that you want to do, getting the chance to do it. If it shortened my life to do this job, I think I would still do it. Right? But again, I say this as somebody, I'm still in my 20s. I don't know if this is me personally not scaling death properly and not scaling it appropriately. All I'm saying is I've given up a lot to be standing here in front of this microphone. I've given up a lot. There have been a lot of tears. There have been a lot of sweat. There's been a lot of sacrifice on my own part. There's been a lot of sacrifice on the part of my family to make sure that I have an opportunity to follow my dreams, that they came to this country so that I had the opportunity to do anything I wanted, and I chose to do this. If you said it shortened my lifespan to do it, I don't know that I would stop. I don't. If you said it'll mess you up later to do it, I don't know that I would stop. So I can relate to Jamal Adams on that level. I can relate to him on that level, right? That being said, it's harder for me to make that one-to-one comparison because radio does not do that to you, right? Radio can ruin your life. You say a lot of things. You say the wrong thing when you are heavily invested in a radio career and you get fired and you don't have any other jobs to go to and no other recourse. You are kind of done, right? Like you give yourself, every time you come on the air, the opportunity to say something absolutely stupid that everyone is going to hate, and it could cost you your job. Doing the job could cost you the job. It's a two-edged sword. Doing the job could cost you the job, right? Like radio can ruin your life. You say a lot of things on the air, and then maybe you say something, and then you go home and realize, like, oh no, I said something about an actual real life relationship, and now I have to go back to my real life and deal with the ramifications of all of that. Uh-oh. But radio can't ruin your life the way that football can ruin your life. I don't leave this station with physical pain. I don't leave with the possibility of dementia. I don't leave with any of these things. So while I can relate to where Jamal Adams is coming from in terms of, I love the work that I do, and if the work that I did were killing me, I might still do the work. I cannot, for the life of me, ever actually relate to Jamal Adams, because Jamal Adams is actually doing work that could actually kill him. And it's different. It's very different, right? In order to understand where he's coming from, I have to turn my situation into a hypothetical. So it's still different. It's still very, very different. It's not quite the same. I don't know. Let's get Jamal Adams. Let's ask him this again halfway through his career, right? Like the average NFL career is like 5 years. Like in 2.5 years, let's ask Jamal Adams again. If he's still in the league 6, 7, 8 years from now, let's ask him this question again. Because what I'd hate to hear is that Jamal Adams is suffering later on in life, and then people just come back and toss this quote back in his face like, well, didn't you say you'd rather die on a football field? And he was 22 years old when he said it, right? I think that is the thing that you need to do. Like probably he's not scaling death properly, but we're not scaling his life experiences properly, of which when you're 22, you have a limited set, and he hasn't played the worst football that he's going to play yet. He hasn't played against the guys that are moving faster, that are bigger and stronger than he has ever seen them. So for him to say that, we just don't know. But I don't know. I recoil at all those people who are clapping, though, because they've ascribed a level of valor and honor to this sport that is not necessary. It doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't scale properly. They have attached a level of respect to hurting yourself for entertainment. Okay, because this is different than our troops, who they also sacrifice their lives. They go off and they fight wars. They fight other people's wars. They also sacrifice themselves, and they fight wars for our freedom and for our way of life. I think that most of them, 99.99% of them, are the very, very best of us, right? And I think that the honor and the dignity that comes with being a soldier, this is not for entertainment, right? This is for freedom. Someone's got to pay the price for freedom. Nobody needs to pay the price for your entertainment, right? People don't have to. This is a choice. This is all a choice from this point onwards. It's their choice to play the game. It's our choice to view the game, understanding what is happening, right? And I like the game of football. I don't know if we had like definitive proof. Boom, this guy is dying because he's doing that, right? Because I mean, they've recorded CTE in a variety of other athletes. For instance, soccer players and all the headers that they do in their game. There's a lot to suggest that soccer is also killing people. But like, that being said, I don't want to be the guy that's like, let me make the excuses here. I'm just saying, if I were to stand here and look at the game, could I stop watching knowing everything that I know? And I still continue to watch football knowing all the things that I know, and people still choose to play football knowing all the things that we know so far. And there have been a few people who have quit watching, and there have been a few people who have quit playing. And it all makes sense. I understand all of it. But this is all a choice. I hesitate to ascribe a similar level of honor and a similar level of valor to what it is that football players do when it comes to comparing that to what it is that people do in the military. Because what people do in the military is not a choice. They may choose to be in the military, but either they choose or the government chooses, right? Like if we are low on volunteers, at some point the government's going to turn around and say, okay, we need someone to be fighting these wars, because someone's got to pay the price. Someone just has to. Like, I don't know what else to say. Someone has to. And that's the reason why we respect troops so much, because they've chosen, like, this is the sacrifice that I've chosen to make, some of them making the ultimate sacrifice. When someone is doing this for your entertainment, I don't like putting those two things together. I don't like putting that level of honor and that level of valor to it. But we do, and we tell these stories like they're legends, like they're myths, right? Like, of all the things that guys have done to disguise injuries and mask injuries, and how many bones has Brett Favre broken, and he's played through the injury, and the story of Ronnie Lott cutting off his own finger so he could keep on playing football, and all of these things. Like, we like to tell these stories like with the same level of valor that you would tell a war story. Right? Like that a grandfather would tell his children about Vietnam. Like, we put the same weight on it. And that doesn't make any sense to me. And so in large part, what Jamal Adams said about dying on a football field, to me, is less about Jamal Adams and more about the culture that we have surrounded this game with, where he would even think to say it. Because I don't know if you've heard Jamal Adams. He's a smart dude. He's not dumb. He's young, but he's not dumb. He's a smart dude. But smart people can't escape cultures, right? Like, when the culture's just messed up, the culture's just messed up. That's why when you've got a bad locker room, what do? You blow it up, right? Like, Cleveland has to trade Kyrie because you could have a bad locker room. Once the culture's messed up, smart people do not behave rationally in bad cultures, right? How many smart people are in jail right now because they weren't in the right culture? They weren't in a culture that suited their mind, that was good for their brain. Jamal Adams is in a culture that is about sacrificing yourself, whether or not the sacrifice is for anything useful at all, which in this case is entertainment. And I would argue there's so many different ways to be entertained in today's world that, again, when Jamal Adams said that, that's fine. But the people who clapped are the ones that are wrong here. But they're all part of this culture that is about killing yourself for the greater good. And for the greater good of what? Entertainment. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
If you've suffered a personal injury or a loved one was the victim of a wrongful death, give the lawyers at McCoon, Williams, Ashley, and Stanley a call. Our attorneys can help you or your business with a wide array of challenges to provide you with the highest quality legal services through the combination of our talents, experience, and expertise. If you're hit by business problems or need legal organization, we're here to help. Visit MWALawFirm.com. That's MWALawFirm.com. Give us a call at 423-756-6400. That's 756-6400.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair skies out there through your nighttime hours. Mild again overnight, lows into the upper 60s. For Thursday, some sunshine, highs upper 80s to near 90. Just a slight chance of a spotty late shower or storm with scattered showers and storms more likely. Friday, highs mid 80s. Good news for folks who love fried chicken. KFC's original recipe fried chicken has been and always will be delicious. Get it for lunch in a $5 fill-up. That's KFC. It's still finger-licking good. And I'm George Noory, Chief Meteorologist Patrick Core. On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339.
I have the best steak selection in town. Name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
Hi, I'm David Crockett, and I'm here with David Tulis, and we're having a little discussion over who's the number one Nooga centrist. If you want to keep up with free market ideas, then read Nooganomics.com. David Tulis, the blogger with the biggest pen.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Let me just say something about Steph Curry real quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It's not a story that requires anything at all. But knowing me and how much I like to talk and bloviate, it might balloon into a 10-minute thing, but it shouldn't be. Because Steph Curry, of course, was at the wedding, the Harrison Barnes wedding. Kyrie was there. And Steph was making fun of LeBron James. LeBron James did that corny video in the gym where, he showed that he was bald. He was listening to some rap music. He was going around the gym, dancing to the music and all that stuff, and that's all fine. But people have been making fun of that, right? Like Steph was making fun of it at the wedding, like mimicking LeBron. And Steph came out and said that he wasn't making fun of LeBron, and people have been going, right. But seriously, he wasn't making fun of LeBron. He was at a wedding. And by the way, people have been doing this with LeBron for weeks. That same LeBron James video that Steph was supposedly mocking, it's been going around on Twitter for weeks. And only old people have been saying, he's making fun of LeBron. We've got to protect LeBron's reputation. It's not making fun of LeBron. He's doing the same thing that everybody else is doing and has been doing for weeks. It's called the LeBron Challenge. Look it up. People try and do exactly what it is that LeBron's doing, listening to the exact song that LeBron's doing. And there have been some pretty funny ones out there. Right? So I don't know that Steph's making fun of LeBron so much as having fun at a wedding, doing a thing that everybody knows about already, except for apparently every sports analyst in the world. Like I listened and I was listening out because I try to listen out for different points, right? so that I don't come on this show and repeat the same thing that everybody else has said. And so one of the points I was listening out for was that, no, people have been doing this on Twitter for weeks. For weeks, I tell you. LeBron put out that video 2 months ago. I don't know. It was like 2 weeks after they lost the finals. He put that video out, and people were making fun of him the next day. Okay, this is May. People have been making fun of this since May. Steph is not the first guy to do this. He's not a revolutionary. He's not changing anything. What are you, crazy? I don't get it. And so what if he was making fun of LeBron? Like I said, everyone on Twitter has been doing it for weeks. If you do corny stuff, people ought to make fun of you. Yes. Try not to be so corny, which LeBron can't help. LeBron can't help being corny now, because as much as LeBron James is a guy that I think a lot of kids look up to, LeBron James is not the most popular player in the NBA anymore, and LeBron James has 2 children. He is King Corny. He is the most corny guy in the NBA on social media by definition. Right? Steph has a daughter, but Steph is young. Steph, he's the baby-faced assassin. He looks like a kid still. So when you put Steph and LeBron up next to each other, Steph looks more like you and me than any of us look like LeBron. Steph's the more relatable guy. That's it. That's all it is. And by the way, Steph didn't do that to be caught on camera. But man, people are just flying out here to defend LeBron James like LeBron James needs defense. He doesn't. What do LeBron James needs defense from every little thing that's poking fun of him, right? He needs defense from Steph Curry making fun of his dancing. He needs defense from somebody was on Kevin Durant's YouTube channel and said, "Hey man, LeBron James is better than you. That's just facts." And Kevin Durant replied with one single word, "Nah. Nah." And people took up for LeBron to defend him from that. To defend him from that. What are you doing, guys? What are you doing? Why does the media feel the need to bend over backwards to defend the honor of LeBron James? He's the best basketball player in the world. He's not a lady. We don't need to defend his honor. He's a grown man. He can defend his honor. He got it. He's good. Leave it alone. Like, he doesn't need your help. But everybody's going, they're coming after LeBron. They're making fun of LeBron. And people didn't make fun of Jordan. And people didn't make fun of Kareem. That's what happens when you're the best. People mock you. And then, presumably, you answer with rings. Mercy. It's frustrating me is all. It's frustrating. People too sensitive in this world. It's way too sensitive. Clutch with Keon Rose at AM 1240 at 92.7 FM. Look, and it's not even just being sensitive for yourself. To be sensitive for yourself is one thing. To be defensive of yourself is one thing. To be sensitive and defensive of LeBron, why does LeBron need your help? Why do you assume that he needs you to step in front of the insults for him? He's a big boy. He can take it. Anyway, I have some things to say about Tennessee football, because I don't know how else to say this, but I have one wish for Tennessee football this year, and it's that they don't give me heart attacks every dang week. Yeah, I would like no heart attacks this year, right? Tennessee, if they're going to be in a game or they're going to be out of a game, be all the way in the game or all the way out the game, right? Don't do this thing where it's coming down and it's 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter and we need a Hail Mary to win a game, because we got that every week for a good stretch during last season. We had it with Florida. We had it with Georgia. We had it with A&M. Even though that was a loss, it was way too close. We just had close game. It started with Appalachian State. I mean, just close game after close game after close game. The Vols just giving everybody a flipping heart attack every single week. And I can't do it again this season. I don't have it. I'm 27 years old, and I feel like I've watched enough close football games to have aged me 30 years. I don't want it. I don't need heart problems at 27. All right? I don't. I just don't. I don't require it. I don't need it. I don't want it. I never asked for it. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the Vols doing this thing where it's like, no, even the games that we ought to be winning, we ought to be beating the paste out of whatever team we're playing, even that game will be too close of a game for your comfort, right? The Virginia Tech game was the only game that, to me, within the first half of last season, was ever in doubt, was never out of doubt, right? Like it was always a big gap for the Vols. They were always going to have the lead. The turnovers by the Hokies made it impossible for them to be in that game, right? I think it was like 4 turnovers that Virginia Tech had. So yeah, I was cool with that. I just don't want the roller coaster ride, the up and the down and the up and the down every single week. I cannot do it. I don't have it. Like the South Carolina game, which was a loss and made me upset, but also was way too close for comfort the whole way through. The Vandy game, right? Like, it's not like, oh, even when the Vols lose, they just get blown out, right? Like the Alabama game was terrible, but at least at halftime, you could mercifully go to yourself, I don't need to sit down and watch all of this. I don't need to do this to myself. I can turn this off. I can back off of it. I don't need to do this. Right? That to me seems fair. What's not fair is a game that the Vols were going to lose, and it's way too close, and I'm on the seat of my pants, and I'm rocking back and forth like I've got some kind of drug problem. I don't need those problems. You don't need those problems. Nobody needs those problems. Okay? Butch Jones, get your team together and stop making my life difficult. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. So we're going to jump to the NFL here because the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, who we're talking about and possibly interested in signing one Colin Kaepernick to be their backup, and in higher desperation mode of doing so, because if they don't, that means their backup quarterback is actually Ryan Mallett. And if you have ever seen Ryan Mallett play, Ryan Mallett is easily one of the worst quarterbacks that I've seen play football in the last 4 years. He's bad. He's terrible. Ryan Mallett was playing so poorly for the Texans last year that they pulled him from a game. And as the story goes, Ryan Mallett continued to berate the guy who replaced him because he's Ryan Mallett. Okay? He is a guy so out of touch with what it takes to be any kind of winning quarterback. The Patriots are like, yeah, we don't need you. Right? Which is not super impressive. The Patriots will let anybody walk. But the Patriots made sure that when they had Matt Castle, they took care of Matt Castle until he decided to walk away and get more money. And they're going to do the same with Jimmy Garoppolo until Garoppolo decides to walk away and make more money. Or they hang on to him. One of the two. But you know what doesn't happen? Ryan Mallett gets taken care of because immediately the Patriots are like, oh. They took a flyer on Ryan Mallett from Arkansas, and it's been a disappointing ride for Ryan Mallett in the NFL ever since. So you really can't rely on Ryan Mallett. You'd rather have Colin Kaepernick. But Steve Bisciotti, the owner, is making it seem like he doesn't really want Colin Kaepernick. He doesn't want to deal with the headache of having Colin Kaepernick on that roster, which is to say that very vocal fans that feel like Colin Kaepernick and his message and the way that he went about espousing said message would be a distraction for the football team, whatever the hell that means. Steve Bisciotti is going to listen to that vocal minority of people than the people who are like, get us the best quarterback available. And so the Baltimore Ravens are looking at Aaron Murray, former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. And Aaron Murray was great in college. Aaron Murray had, over the 4 years that he was at Georgia, thrown for 120 touchdowns to 40 interceptions. He had a 62% completion rate. And the 4-year run that Aaron Murray was at Georgia, consistently one of the best quarterbacks in college football, year in and year out. I mean, it's close to the best quarterback in the SEC that's probably been there, that we've seen in a good stretch of time, probably like the last 10 years or whatever it is. And so while Aaron Murray, a great college player, if Aaron Murray were all that at the NFL level, I presume Aaron Murray would already be on an NFL roster. I feel like Colin Kaepernick is better than Aaron Murray. I don't think that that's too much of a stretch to say, because Colin Kaepernick, again, for what it's worth, did play pretty decently last year. And if what you're looking for is a backup, then pretty decently is fine, right? Like, you can't ask for too much in a backup when you've got bad quarterbacks all around the league. You've got bad quarterbacks everywhere, right? There is a team right now that has to choose between Christian Hackenberg and Josh McCown. And I don't know who you choose there. There's a team that actually has to choose between those two options. They're bad quarterbacks all over the place. Pretty decently is as good as you're going to get this close to the start of the season. Yes, it is. That's as good as it's going to get. Why are we running from this? Like, it's crazy to see the lengths that people are going to run away from signing Colin Kaepernick. Right? And it's not to say that Aaron Murray can't work or be useful for you through preseason or whatever. He's got to be better than Ryan Mallett. He just has to be. But it is crazy. And then to me, it's only crazy because I've always thought, and I've always been taught, like, football is the meritocracy sport. Football is the sport where if you can perform, if you can play well, if you can win somebody games, you will be forgiven of just about anything. And I've seen it time and time again. Guys doing the most heinous stuff and being able to win football games, being truly transcendent talents at football, and are allowed to get away with absolutely terrible things. Right? Like, domestic abuse is a big NFL problem. Like, it disproportionately happens in the NFL community than any other athletic sport. And guys who have hit women have gotten starting football jobs faster than Colin Kaepernick. Right? Colin Kaepernick, who merely protested. And protested in a way that was attempting to not be disrespectful to the troops and not be disrespectful to the country. Right? He changed his protest as people asked him to. They were like, okay, sitting down, that's disrespectful to the troops. So he made sure to kneel specifically. That was the compromise. And for whatever reason, can't find a job now. Cannot find a backup job, much less a starting job. And there are teams everywhere that could use a Colin Kaepernick, right? Like, the Ravens are one, but why don't the Vikings give him a call? That's crazy. Why don't the Jaguars give him a call? Like, this whole Bortles thing might not be working out with them anyway. Why don't the Jags give him a call? You know? Why don't the Rams give him a call? Why don't the Chiefs give him a call to be that sort of bridge between Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes? Why? You know, why did the Niners? Because the Niners were going to release him. He opted out of his contract, but they were going to release him. Why did the Niners release him? It's not like they've got anything better going on at quarterback over there in San Francisco. They do not. Okay, I get this as a promise. They do not have anything better going on over there. Except to say, like, if you're going to say that Colin Kaepernick's not blackballed from the league, then how come it is that he doesn't have any particular kind of job? I'm not saying make Colin Kaepernick a starter. I don't think that the last season that he played in provided him being starter material as evidence. But it is insane to think that this guy is not on anybody's team, even as a backup. And Colin Kaepernick is better than most of these backups. Why can't he not find a job? Right? And Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, came out and said, yeah, this is a politics thing. This is very much a politics thing. Right? This is not about his abilities. And that to me is sad. I mean, it's really sad. And as much as I'm happy for Aaron Murray, you know, because that's a guy that I thought, you know, would find a spot in the NFL too, just out of, I watched him at Georgia and I always thought the world of him at Georgia. So I could not understand for the life of me how it was that he did not take off in the NFL. Right. But teams in desperate need of a quarterback can't find Kaepernick. Right. Like people saw Aaron Murray and decided Aaron Murray just wasn't good enough. No one is out here telling you that Colin Kaepernick is not good enough. This is a guy who in the right system took a team to a Super Bowl. Okay. He's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And I just thought that the meritocracy would win out. That, yeah, maybe what you did was unpopular, but if you can help people win football games, if you can go out there and be victorious, that somehow you ought to be good enough to be on a football team. The meritocracy is now winning out, which does not speak highly of the NFL. Like you cannot offset protesting with talent, really? Because people have offset all kinds of things. They've offset DUIs with talent. They've offset domestic abuse with talent. Michael Vick killed dogs. Lots killed and tortured. Lots and lots and lots of dogs. Went to jail, came out, and immediately got a job. And I'm not saying that Michael Vick didn't deserve a second chance. I'm saying Colin Kaepernick has not done any of those things. None of them. He's never put his hands on a woman. He hasn't killed an animal. He hasn't been driving under the influence. And so it's sad. All of those people can get a job. Colin Kaepernick can't get a job. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. John Gruden, back in the news again. Next.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332 888-888-3339.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
This is Thomas DeMoss with Keller Williams Realty. I am a realtor in Chattanooga. We list and sell homes, work with buyers, work with home sellers. I have been involved in real estate for over 10 years. My background is as a real estate investor. That is what I bring to the table, is that real estate investor mindset. My job is to help you sell your house for the most money, employing the best marketing strategy and walking you through what can be a rather stressful process. So we are encouraging people who are on the fence or even thought about selling their house to give us a call. There's no obligation. We're just here to kind of have a conversation, let people know what the process is like, what the market is like, what values they can expect to receive. We work with buyers as well. I also have a buyer's agent that works exclusively with my buyers because we want to give our clients as much attention as we can. My cell phone number is 423-364-0028. Our website is northriverpropertygroup.com. That's northriverpropertygroup.com. We'd love for you guys to call.
And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field lines failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. That happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
My name is Trevor Atchley. I'm an attorney here with the law firm McCoon, Williams, Atchley, and Stanley. We have a show on Nooga Radio called Legal Bites, where we discuss legal topics of interest to our listeners: estate planning, business formation, and business transactions. Legal Bites, 11 a.m. on Wednesday.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Nadia behind the green door. You've had ice cream and you've had shaved ice, but have you had snow cream? It is amazing. It's light, airy, fruity snowflakes melting on your tongue. You need to come and see us. Highway 58, green door next to Hardee's.
Does your business have enough clients? Are you confused? Curated social media market? Do you feel lost trying to navigate the maze of marketing channels which are necessary in today's marketplace? Are you fed up with spending your time and money on employees who don't perform and marketing strategies that don't produce? Then you need Cindy's Choice. Cindy will solve your marketing problems with their innovative shared marketing management concept that will allow your business to have the benefits of a full-time employee that is actually out building relationships in the community on behalf of your brand. Cindy's low monthly rate includes advertising, employee management, public relations, and creative marketing strategies that produce. Cindy can bring this all to you at a rate lower than most advertising campaigns and for much less than the cost of hiring a marketing employee. Cindy's Choice is your trusted source, and Cindy will manage it all for you.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I focus on the prospect so you can focus on the project. Call me at 423-661-4445. That's 423-661-4445. So you can become Cindy's Choice.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
boots. They touched Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee.
What's the hassle, Schmassel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Macy-Dixie line, and no Yankees are crossing it.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
If you've suffered a personal injury or a loved one was the victim of a wrongful death, give the lawyers at McCoon, Williams, Ashley, and Stanley a call. Our attorneys can help you or your business with a wide array of challenges to provide you with the highest quality legal services through the combination of our talents, experience, and expertise. If you're hit by business problems or need legal organization, we're here to help. Visit MWALawFirm.com. That's MWALawFirm.com. Give us a call at 423-756-6400. That's 756-6400.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair skies out there through your nighttime hours, mild again overnight, lows into the upper 60s. For Thursday, some sunshine, highs upper 80s to near 90, just a slight chance of a spotty late shower or storm with scattered showers and storms more likely Friday, highs mid-80s. Good news for folks who love fried chicken. KFC's original recipe fried chicken has been and always will be delicious. Get it for lunch in a $5 fill-up.
WBLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga,
WSGT Sunny Daisy Chattanooga.
A move to overhaul the U.S. immigration system.
It has not been fair to our people.
Researchers have taken a giant step toward fixing disease-causing genes.
It's the next big thing in medicine.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Pam Coulter. Immigrants with skills and money would get priority to come to the U.S. under a Senate bill endorsed by President Trump today.
This competitive application process will favor applicants who can speak English, financially support themselves and their families, and demonstrate skills that will contribute to our economy.
GOP Senator Jeff Flake is not on board.
You can't, cut legal immigration in half and expect that we're going to address the economic needs that we have.
Congressional investigators want to do a deep dive into last summer's meeting involving Donald Trump Jr. and some Russians. CBS's Bill Rakoff.
CBS News has learned of the interest in the phone records surrounding the meeting at Trump Tower last year after it was revealed that President Trump played a role in the crafting of a misleading statement about the meeting. In addition, a congressional source says they're looking for any and all relevant records involving anyone who may have been at that meeting.
Holding his nose, the president signed the Russia sanctions bill today. CBS's Stephen Portnoy with more.
A signing statement released by the White House accuses Congress of acting in haste to pass a significantly flawed bill. It overwhelmingly passed both houses with just a handful of objections. The president says he's signing it for the sake of national unity. It requires congressional review before he can waive or eliminate sanctions on Russia.
A new Quinnipiac poll does not have good news for the president. Spokesman Tim Malloy.
This is the worst polling he's seen since we have been polling him when he became president. His disapproval rating is now 61%. His approval rating 33%. All-time low. Terrible, terrible number.
A new achievement could have big implications for ending hereditary diseases. U.S. scientists were able to alter the genes of a human embryo to correct a heart defect known for killing young athletes. CBS's Dr. John LaPook.
In this experiment, they went into an embryo that had just been fertilized and contained a gene that causes a very bad heart defect. They used this CRISPR technology to find that gene. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Make a cut in the chromosome at that point, and then the body's own repair mechanism helps repair the chromosome.
The Dow broke another record today, closing above 22,000 for the first time. President Trump is claiming credit, but CBS's Jill Schlesinger says
companies are making money
Investors like that. They drive stock prices higher and the indexes reach new highs.
The Dow was up 52 points today. Now this.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.75%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
A natural gas explosion at a Minneapolis prep school killed one staff member and sent 9 other people to the hospital. One person is still unaccounted for. Fire Chief John Friedel says they'll search the building that partially collapsed.
Rescue crews are taking a look at the structural integrity of what's left of the structure, the center section. That is where we're going to have to go in and be very precise in how we search that area.
Federal investigators are on the scene of the freight train derailment in a small Pennsylvania town near the Maryland border. At least 32 cars went off the rails, and one containing liquefied petroleum and one containing molten sulfur were on fire. Governor Tom Wolf.
The concern is for the safety and welfare of the people of Hindman, and to make sure that we're doing everything we can at the state level to help the good work that's going on at the local level.
All residents of the town were ordered to evacuate, but not all did. You're listening to the CBS World News Roundup.
If you've suffered a personal injury or a loved one was the victim of a wrongful death, give the lawyers at McCune, Williams, Ashley, and Stanley a call. Our attorneys can help you or your business with a wide array of challenges to provide you with the highest quality legal services through the combination of our talents, experience, and expertise. If you're hit by business problems or need legal organization, we're here to help. Visit MWALawFirm.com. That's MWALawFirm.com. Give us a call at 423-756-6400. That's 756-6400.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair skies out there through your nighttime hours. Mild again overnight. Lows into the upper 60s. For Thursday, some sunshine. Highs upper 80s to near 90. Just a slight chance of a spotty late shower or storm with scattered showers and storms more likely. Friday, highs mid-80s. Good news for folks who love fried chicken. KFC's original recipe fried chicken has been and always will be delicious. Get it for lunch in a $5 fill-up. That's KFC. It's still finger-licking good. And I'm Storm Team 12's Chief Meteorologist, Patrick Orr. On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Now, me being a radio guy, I'm really not good with vehicles. Never changed my own oil, can barely change a tire, and sometimes when I hear a clanking, I just turn the radio up louder. Not a real good idea. So I need to be able to trust someone when they look at my vehicle. Well, I found the guys. Locally owned and operated here in Chattanooga. It's Precision Tune Auto Care. They're your neighbors. There's 3 locations in Chattanooga. And since they're Nooga Radio's official oil change center, they're going to extend the great deal they give to us to you. Just $20 for a standard oil change. Can you imagine that? $20 for a standard oil change. You're in and out in no time. $20 for a standard oil change at Precision Tune Auto Care. And they treat all of their customers like family. With show and tell, they'll show you what's wrong, point out the problems, and tell you exactly what it will take to get fixed. They really do have pride in what they do at Precision Tune Auto Care. Precision Tune Auto Care with 3 locations. 2125 Gun Barrel Road, Chattanooga, 4221 Hickson Pike, and Highway 58 next to Dunkin' Donuts. Call 602-5955. That's 602-5955. Precision Tune Auto Care.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
You're listening to AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Clutch with Keon Rose is the show. Nooga Radio is the station. NoogaRadio.com is our website. And the hour number is 2. It's hour number 2 of the show. Really quickly, back to the Jamal Adams story that we talked about at the top of last hour. Jamal Adams was talking to fans in a sort of get-to-know-you type of situation, and they were talking about safety in football and CTE, and Jamal Adams said somewhere in the part of his response that he can't think of a better place to die than on a football field. Now, to me, that is absolutely insane. I can think of a million better places to die than on a football field. Try at home for just on the very short list of answers. At home. I would rather die at home. That way I am already home. Right? Presumably if one dies on the football field, it's painful. There's a million. Come on. That's crazy. But I don't hold it against Jamal Adams. He's young. Dude is 22 years old, and what do you know about 22-year-old guys? Their sense of death, their scale of life, and how important life is, not necessarily the best, right? The judgment on that is not necessarily the best. Now, chances are if you asked Jamal Adams in about 50 years what he felt about that, he'd probably give you a different answer, but he might give you the same answer. Who knows? Who knows? Football guys can be crazy. But that being said, I'm not necessarily of the mindset that that's something that you should want or desire. This place where it's okay for you to give up your life for the entertainment of somebody else. And I say this because I watch football. I'm entertained by football. I've watched football my whole life. I've had a lot of memories growing up with my dad where football was the focal point of the memory. And I wouldn't trade those memories for anything in the world. But that being said, I don't think someone should have to die for it. Like that's crazy. I am not of that belief. Now, I understand where Jamal Adams is coming from, though. That's the thing. Because Jamal Adams is talking from a place where A, he's young, B, he is doing a job that not very many people get to do, a job that he has probably wanted to do since he was a little kid, right? His dad was in the NFL. It's a job he's probably wanted to do since he himself was a little kid, and now he's gotten the opportunity to do it. No one's going to rip that from him, right? Like you get very defensive about that. And I say that because I do the same thing. No, I don't play football, but I do a job that I've wanted to do since I was a kid that I've given up a lot for, that people in my family have given up a lot for me to have the opportunity to do this. And if you told me doing radio, right, doing this show will shorten your life, the question I would have to ask is by how much? By how much, right? Like doing this radio show is bad for your brain. It's killing you. At some point, it would be ridiculous to continue to do it. But at another point, I really love doing this. Like I can't imagine doing anything else. I imagine I would have to, right? Like at some point, the detriment far outweighs any benefit. But I really love doing this job. And if you told me it was killing me to do this job, and I understand that I am not that far removed from being Jamal Adams' age. I'm only 5 years older than the guy, even though 5 years in young man years is a lot. You learn a lot between 22 and 27, I promise. But I understand that feeling. I understand it. If you told me this job is killing you, it's messing up your brain, your quality of life in your later years is not going to be as good because you are doing this job. You know what? I would still very strongly consider continuing to do it. Now, I'm not going to give you any such answer as there's no place I'd rather die than in a radio booth. That's nonsense. Like, I can think of literally dozens of places I would rather die. But I've already given up a lot for this. So what is the harm in giving up more? I've already given up a lot, right? And so if you're Jamal Adams, like that's where you're coming from. I've already given my life for this game. What is the point of giving up more? And what is the harm in giving up a little bit more? Right? Now, where I can't necessarily relate to Jamal Adams and where I think it is unfair to relate my experience and my own feeling to his experience is that his job is actually killing him, right? Like my job is in a hypothetical could kill me, right? Like hypothetically, there's a lot of things that radio does that could be of detriment to your life, right? Like in order to properly prepare for this show, I watch a lot of sports, which does at sometimes put strain on my girlfriend because she wants to spend time with me, and it's me and the football game, and it's me and the basketball game, and it's me and the tennis match, and it's me and the golf tournament. And at some point, she's fighting that, and that hurts her. Like she's not a big fan of that, right? Like that's one way that radio can ruin your life. You're constantly listening to things in radio. If you don't take good care of your ears, you could find yourself with hearing loss and tinnitus. Tinnitus is not fun. You just hear a ringing in your ears. When there is no sound, you just hear ringing. Tinnitus ain't great. Okay? So I see there are some parallels where doing a job that you love has detriment. But the downside of football is such a massive downside where we're talking about early onset dementia and horrible depression and just guys whose personalities are flipping at the drop of a hat and all of this stuff that you hear about it. It doesn't seem worth it to me. And I think I should and ought to respect Jamal Adams' decision to say that it might be worth it to you, but I'm not going to respect the way that you chose to phrase that. No. There's plenty of better places to die than on a football field. The only thing worse than the fact that he said that is the fact that when he said that, a bunch of people clapped, which is to say that none of this is really Jamal Adams' fault, but more the football culture, the culture around that sport specifically that is not around baseball and is not around basketball and isn't around golf. Like if someone said there's no place I'd rather die than on a golf course, like that doesn't carry with it the same weight, right? Like, because you could be 65 and go out there and just die on a golf course. Like you were just playing, you just happened to be playing golf when you died, which is different than football, where you don't just happen to be playing football when you die. The football probably killed you. Right? Like when you see someone being paralyzed playing football, it's not, oh, that guy just happened to be playing football when he got paralyzed. No, the game paralyzed him. Right? That's huge. That's huge. The game did that to you. What you are saying when you say, there's no place I'd rather die than out on a basketball court. No one said the game of basketball actually killed a guy. Right? There have been a few situations, a few tragic situations, but it's all considered in football, the danger of the game, part of the game. It's all considered part of the game. To die on a football field is not something to want, wish for, or desire. Right? Like it just isn't. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. But again, I say to be fair to Jamal Adams, shove that microphone in his face in 10 years. When his body's been through some aches and been through some pains, shove that mic back in his face then. Right? Like it's early now to judge the guy. people grow up, people mature, people's understanding of responsibility and life and death. Ask Jamal Adams that question when he's got a family of his own, when he's got a wife and some kids, right? Then suddenly the idea of dying on a football field doesn't seem great to you when your greatest joy in life is your kid, right? Like it's that idea becomes a little bit more sophomoric. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. So I've been noting a trend here. There was a guy on Reddit. The user on Reddit is his user handle is GoatmanEvil, which is, take that however you want to take that. But he was blocked on Twitter by Kirk Herbstreit, who does College Game Day over at the 4-Letter Network. And it must have been an accident, is what the guy thinks, because he doesn't tweet enough to have done anything to offend Kirk Herbstreit. And this, to me, draws into my hatred of social media. Because I was like, why does this guy care so much that he was blocked by Kirk Herbstreit? And he's trying to be unblocked by Kirk Herbstreit without starting a new account and all of that stuff. And I don't know why this guy has such a gigantic problem with being blocked by Kirk Herbstreit. I don't know if I've been blocked by anybody on Twitter. I've never checked, and I don't notice if people have blocked me. Like, I just really don't notice. I'm on Twitter a lot, but I'm not so tapped into Twitter that I care what other people think and or say on Twitter. I just sort of lob stuff out there, my own opinions, and then I, try and pick fights with people because it's fun. But I'm not trying to be liked by anybody. If someone blocks me, I don't really care. So like my thing is like, why does that guy care so much? But I understand. You want to get connected to people who, to you, are someone you'd consider to be one of your favorite people, right? Like Kirk Herbstreit, for what it's worth, is a really cool dude and a really, really intelligent football analyst. And his football opinions are nice to have. And if you are a person on Twitter, I imagine it'd be nice for you to have those opinions. Now, have access to those opinions. With that being said, why is it that people block other people on Twitter, though? Because I don't know. And I'm not famous, right? Like the amount of people I follow on Twitter is greater than the people following me. I have a decent amount of followers, but the ratio is still heavily skewed in the direction that I am following way more people than are following me. So I wouldn't say that I am famous on Twitter. I wouldn't say that I'm really anybody on Twitter. But I'm not famous in any particular kind of regard at all. So there's that. I've never been put in a situation where I feel like I've had to block somebody. I just can't imagine why, like myself doing it. Like if you were just being crazy or an idiot or a clown, like I still don't feel the need to block you. Now, if you're being, homophobic or racist or sexist, yeah, I suppose you could catch a block in that way. But I just don't necessarily see the need to be blocking people because most people that I interact with don't fall in that particular category. But I actually stumbled across a list of people who have blocked others on Twitter in a way that does seem odd and petty. One guy, Skylar Howard, who used to play college football, used to search his own name on Twitter and block people based on the negative criticisms that they had for him, right? Because on Twitter, you can use someone's Twitter handle to send them a message, and they will be notified if you make a comment and then use their Twitter handle in the comment, right? So I could say, at King James, I don't like him. And LeBron would see that tweet. And then I suppose at that point he could choose to block me if he felt so inclined. Because it would notify him. However, if I just said LeBron, I don't like him, LeBron would have to look for that tweet. He would have to search it to find it, right? He would have to go out of his way to find it. And that's what this guy, Skylar Howard, was doing. He was going out of his way to find tweets that were negative about him so he could just block people whom he did not know. Now, how small, childish, and petty do you have to be to do that? And he's not the only one. Devin Gardner, who used to play for Michigan, did the same thing. John Kuhn, is John Kuhn still a Green Bay Packer? John Kuhn does it too. Will search his own name on Twitter to find the people saying negative stuff about him and block them. Now, it's one thing if you search for negative press to motivate you. It's another thing to find it so you can just be like, no, I don't want your negativity flowing onto my Twitter timeline on accident even. So I'm going to search you out and block you. But you know who else has done this? A guy that I like, a guy that I think is a stand-up individual, a guy that I think is, I don't know, one of the good ones in a world where you just don't find that many good ones. Joshua Dobbs. Josh Dobbs does it. He does it. I was reading the comments of a lot of Reddit users, and again, I have not substantiated this, but one Reddit user said that he retweeted a news story, and it was an anti-Trump news story, and Joshua Dobbs blocked the guy for retweeting that. Now, I think the story did happen to be tweeted at Josh Dobbs, but that's silly. That's silly. If someone has a differing political opinion than you and they make that known on the internet, you're really going to go out of your way to block them? I don't know. People, I mean, I don't get into politics very much on my Twitter. I pretty much try and keep it exclusively to sports, even though I do dabble in the politics as well, because there is some bleed over. Like, you just can't ignore it. We don't live in a world where everything gets to be wonderfully compartmentalized in that way. But I have not ever been so annoyed by somebody and so put off by what someone has said that I have felt the need to block them. I just want to know why people care that much. Like social media has done something to us that we can never go back from, where you can find all the negative, hateful things that people say about you and react to it. Never before in human history has that ever been possible. For someone to say somewhere anonymously that they don't like you, and that gets back to you, right? Doesn't matter who you are, what position you play. Never before has someone been able to say, yeah, I hate that guy, he's overrated. You don't know who this person is. You don't know where they live, but you're able to respond to their negative opinion of you, to their worthlessly negative opinion of you. And it's crazy. The times that we live in are actually insane. You've never been able to do that before now. And now everybody can react. And we are talking about people, just random internet strangers, having a level of power that random people have never had before. Random people who don't, quite frankly, what do they do for society, right? Like, you don't know. Maybe they just live in their mom's basement. Maybe they're the guy that flips your burger. Like, maybe you have no idea what these people do, right? On the internet, everybody has equal opportunities to speak, right? We don't all have the same weight on the internet. If someone is famous, they have more weight. They have more people watching what they say. But I can say just as many things online as Kim Kardashian can say. Like, the internet is equal in that way. I am allowed to say just as many things as her. And I'm just a guy. And I get to say them, and I could direct them at her if I wanted to. And if she wanted to, she could respond to just some guy she doesn't know. Right? That is the mind-boggling part of our society that we live in. And I just think, like, the more I see athletes on social media, maybe they should just leave social media. Not because I don't want to see what athletes do or think anymore, because I like the little peeks into their lives to understand people who do something that I enjoy and I myself could never do. I like that. But this idea that somehow everybody that makes fun of you has to be put on notice, you do have to understand how impossibly crazy that is. And how petty that is. Who has the time to do that? Lunch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
If you've suffered a personal injury or a loved one was the victim of a wrongful death, give the lawyers at McCoon, Williams, Ashley, and Stanley a call. Our attorneys can help you or your business with a wide array of challenges to provide you with the highest quality legal services through the combination of our talents, experience, and expertise. If you're hit by business problems or need legal organization, we're here to help. Visit MWALawFirm.com. That's MWALawFirm.com. Give us a call at 423-756-6400. That's 756-6400.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair skies out there through your nighttime hours. Mild again overnight. Lows into the upper 60s. For Thursday, some sunshine. Highs upper 80s to near 90. Just a slight chance of a spotty late shower or storm with scattered showers and storms more likely. Friday, highs mid-80s. Good news for folks who love fried chicken. KFC's original recipe fried chicken has been and always will be delicious. Get it for lunch in a $5 fill-up. That's KFC. It's still finger-licking good. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare. On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339.
I have the best steak selection in town. Name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
Hi, I'm David Crockett, and I'm here with David Tulis, and we're having a little discussion over who's the number one Nooga centrist. If you want to keep up with free market ideas, then read Nooganomics.com. David Tulis, the blogger with the biggest pen.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Lunch with Keon Rose at AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. There are some reporters, they have stories, and you believe them. You trust them. Right? Adrian Wojnarowski, if he reports something, I trust it. Adam Schefter, if he reports something, I trust it. Because these guys have been right so much more often than they have been wrong, that there's a lot to trust there. There are some guys that are good, but they've been wrong a lot, right? Chris Broussard is a guy that I think he is a really good reporter, but he's been wrong often enough that you can't trust everything that Chris Broussard says, right? Stephen A. Smith is a guy, he's been wrong often enough that you take some things that Stephen A. says with a grain of salt. He's really good, but also, like, you just got to take it with a grain of salt, right? Just a little bit. And there's some guys that, like, again, you just trust them implicitly. Adrian Wojnarowski, when was the last time that he's been wrong about anything ever? I don't know. I can't remember. Same thing for Schefter. Like, when was the last time that Schefter was legitimately wrong about something, right? Once, I remember like 2 years ago, he had to walk back a story. That's it. He's been doing this for how long? I can only remember one time. I'm not the be all and end all of it. If someone remembers another time that those guys were wrong, please let me know. But Dennis Dodd for CBS Sports is one of those guys that I trust. He has got a fantastic track record. And Dennis Dodd reported Monday Monday, even though I'm just now discovering about this story today. Dennis Dodd reported Monday that Butch Jones is a guy that is being considered a realistic candidate for the Ole Miss job. So we've got more Hugh Freeze fallout, but the fallout of it is actually impacting now other schools in the SEC, because we know how the SEC works. It tends to be fairly, for lack of a better word, incestuous when it comes to, we are just going to hire coaches from other people who have had coaches in this conference, right? We're not hiring outside of this conference super often. I'm not sure why, but that's just the way, the nature of this league. That's just the way we do things down here. And Ole Miss has a list of coaching candidates. Dennis Dodd reported that Butch Jones was third on the list. Okay. But not only was he on the list, a published list of 15 realistic names that Ole Miss could consider to replace Hugh Freeze, entering his 5th season at Tennessee, he was third. Okay, here's the reasoning from Dennis Dodd, that Jones' recent move to super agent Jimmy Sexton reminds us that nothing will happen at Ole Miss until Jimmy says it does. Pure and simple. Sexton controls the SEC coaching market. It's easy to imagine Jones ending up at Ole Miss after a 7-6 season that seals the deal for the locals who weren't satisfied with consecutive 9-win seasons. Now, I don't know how much sway Vols fans have in coaching hires and coaching decisions. But I will say yesterday what I said, or say today what I said yesterday about Steve Bisciotti, the Ravens owner, wanting to talk to Ravens fans and sponsors about signing Colin Kaepernick. Don't do it. Fans don't know anything. If Tennessee decides to fire Butch Jones, and this is not a disrespectful statement being made of Vols fans, please don't take it this way, it better not be because the fans wanted it. It better be that you thought you had a better football decision in mind, a better head coach in place. You had your own list of coaching candidates, and you thought to yourself, we're glad for everything that Butch Jones built here. We can build on this with a better coach. Don't succumb to fans. Fans don't know what they want. Okay? I see this happen all the time. Anytime I watch a TV show, TV shows tend to get worse when they start listening to the fans. And I'll give you an example. The Walking Dead is at least was a really cool TV show that right now is just turned into basically zombie soap opera. But a large part of it is because, like, people who are well liked on that show, you know they're not going to die, right? Like they just aren't. Is a character on that show that isn't a very interesting character, and he has gotten a number of his own episodes on that show because that is what fans wanted, and it was wrong because he's not interesting. He's interesting in relation to other people, but he's a quiet character. He keeps to himself. He doesn't say very much. So obviously when he is by himself, it doesn't work. Fans don't know what they want. Fans know what they like when they see it. Steve Jobs did this over at Apple. Steve Jobs said, never ask the consumer what they want. Tell them what they want. We don't know what we want. We only know what we like when we see it. Okay? Fans can say they want Butch Jones fired until the cows come home. But if you fire Butch Jones and don't hire somebody at least as good, people are going to blow your door in. Yes, they will. And say that you should never have done it. The only way you fire Butch Jones is if you've got someone in mind better. Better. If you fire Butch Jones and he decides to go to Ole Miss, you'll be doing Ole Miss a favor by gifting them a competent head coach. Butch Jones is competent. He isn't great. He is powerfully average. He makes a ton of excuses. He speaks entirely in cliches. Look, there's plenty of headache to go for Butch Jones. But by no means should the university fire that man because the fans want it. We don't know what we want. You don't make decisions based on what fans want. It's a horrible way to go around living life. You don't make decisions based on what fans want, ever. Ever. Fans don't know. Okay? And you can look at every all-star game that fans have been allowed to vote in as pretty accurate proof that fans don't know what they're talking about and they don't know what they want. They know what they like when they see it. Like, people talk about Butch Jones and they talk about him like he's this horrible coach. But you ask, okay, so who would you rather have that's available to have? And nobody can come up with anything better. They'll like it when they see it. If you hire somebody better, they'll like him. If Butch Jones coaches better, they'll like him. I mean, what? He's got back-to-back 9-win seasons. He's 30-21 as the Vols head coach. What else can you ask for at this point except for an SEC East title victory, which you imagine, because of the level of consistency that he's been giving you all, he's going to get eventually, right? Like, I think that if the Vols were to hang on to Butch Jones, and again, there's enough to be mad at the guy about because he makes excuses all the time, but like, eventually he's going to win one. Why? Because he's consistent, because he's always recruiting well, because he always has high-level talent, because they're always seemingly in football games. They ought to win more of them, but they seem to be in all of them. And you couldn't say that 6 years ago as a Vols fan. You couldn't. So I was surprised to see Butch Jones' name on that list. Now, Dennis Dodd also suffers from the thing that I think other coaches or other national writers suffer from, which is that national writers talk about teams through the national lens and maybe not through what is actually true. Now, I don't live actually in Knoxville, but there's a lot of Vols fans around here, and I imagine that they are not as ready to run Butch Jones out of town as many people would suspect. Why? I've talked to a number of Vols fans, and people seem to believe that this is a 7-win season. The national media is reporting that like 7 wins is not good enough for Butch Jones and that the fans are going to riot and run him out of town. But when you talk to most fans, they look at the talent on the roster, right? They look at the returning talent. They look at the quarterback situation, and they look at the schedule and they go, this could be 7 wins, 6 or 7 wins. Most people believe this to be a 6 or 7 win season. So no one's going to be mad at Butch Jones for hitting exactly the mark that everybody thinks that he's going to hit, right? Like, in the East, he's got the 3rd best team. So he's not going to win 9 games again. I think he wins 8, to be honest with you. That's just me. But most fans think he's going to hit around 6 or 7. So this idea that the national media is propagating, that somehow Vols fans are going to run Butch Jones out of town if he does anything worse than 9, is crazy, because that's around what everybody expects. Now, if Butch Jones has a 4-win season or a 5-win season, I could see the anger there. I could. Because that means that you didn't beat Florida or Georgia, and you got to beat one of them. You just have to. You got to beat the rivals. I'm sorry. That's how you stick around in this division. But I don't necessarily see the problem with that Vols fans have with Butch Jones that the national media keeps saying that Vols fans have with Butch Jones. Says who? Says who? I mean, I've been aware of that. Other coaches' names that were on that list, by the way, before I move on. Interim head coach Matt Luke, Les Miles, UTSA head coach Frank Wilson, and I'm from San Antonio. Frank Wilson's really good. SMU head coach Chad Morris, Memphis head coach Mike Norville, Air Force coach Troy Calhoun. So they're going to be looking at a lot of those, I'm going to say mid-major, but a lot of those Division II schools. which people act like there aren't great coaches down there. Appalachian State head coach Scott Satterfield, who is really good, as we saw against Tennessee last year. Todd Monken, Troy coach Neil Brown, Temple coach Jeff Collins, TCU offensive analyst Sonny Dykes, and Alabama defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt. Also, Kevin Sumlin was on the list, and I was like, you don't want Kevin Sumlin. What are you doing? Kevin Sumlin is going to be good for the exact amount of time that you have Shea Patterson. And if he doesn't get another quarterback then, it ain't going to work out for you. What do you want with Kevin Sumlin? Like, I thought there were parts of that list that were very practical and pragmatic. Looking at Jeff Collins from Temple and Frank Wilson from UTSA, I really like them. But the Sumlin and the Jones and the Les Miles seem like Willy Wonka stupid. Just really insane. just high levels of nutso to have any of those guys on the list, right? Now, if you're Ole Miss and you could get Butch Jones, I say take Butch Jones. But leave Les Miles alone. Leave Les Miles alone. And leave Kevin Sumlin alone, too. That's silly. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Let's jump to the NFL here, because I do have an NFL story about the Tennessee Titans, which is that the Tennessee Titans are going to have a uniform change soon. Not this season, but next season, the 2018 season. The Tennessee Titans are going to change their uniforms. And from the majority owner of the team, the uniform change is going to be, quote, a big uniform change. Now, the colors are not going to change. That's the only hint that we have as to what's going to happen with this new uniform. The colors will be the same. We're not going to be suddenly watching the Vols wearing orange or anything, but the colors are going to be the same blue that we've got there, but it's going to be a big change. And I don't know what that means, because Nike is in charge of the NFL uniforms, and Nike has done some pretty brilliant, subtle redesigns on some uniforms, like the Dolphins and the Vikings, and they have done some very nasty things to some other uniforms, like the Seahawks, a uniform that I liked originally, and it's actually grown off of me. I cannot stand looking at the Seahawks now. Like, it's weird. All the lines and extra patterns, and the patterns have patterns. None of that stuff is necessary. None of that stuff is necessary, and only a Nike executive would think that that was cool. I don't want that to happen to the Titans, but I feel like the Titans are in a smaller market in Nashville, and they have a small enough fan base that's not going to be able to riot enough that you're just going to have to get used to seeing whatever it is that Nike vomits out and says, here, root for this, tells a team to have, here, wear this. We could get something really cool. Like, I like what they did with the Dolphins uniforms, right? But we could see like the Redskins have a throwback uniform. I think that's really cool too. We could see something cool like that, or we could see something that's just absolutely hot garbage, like what's going on in Seattle. I don't want that for the Titans, right? Because I saw the abomination that happened. You remember that Color Rush game? The Jaguars and the Titans played in the Color Rush game, where it's just you just wear just all the one color that your team has, except all of your entire uniform is that color. So the Titans wore the lighter blue in their blue pattern, I guess. And it was fine. I'm not a big fan of the Color Rush uniforms. But man, the Jaguars looked hideous. Also, speaking of Nike redesigns, I like the Jaguars uniforms, their new uniforms, but that half black, half gold thing going on in their helmet is disgusting. It's vile. It's vile. I mean, when you speak of things that make you want to vomit a little bit in your mouth, that is one of them. Why did they do that? Why does half the helmet need to be one color and the other half another color? Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's so stupid. I hate it so much. And I don't know what to do about it. So I just got to suffer. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Malik Monk, the former Kentucky Wildcat, was drafted to the Charlotte Hornets, owned by Michael Jordan. And thusly, Malik Monk is the next in the line of people who wants to play Michael Jordan. You'll have to get in line behind the rematch of Frank Kaminsky and LeVar Ball, who also wants to play Michael Jordan, who Michael Jordan recently said he could beat one-legged. Malik Monk has said that, quote, Michael Jordan is old and he wants to play Mike. Michael Jordan is 50 years old now, in his 50s. And I guess I imagine that Malik Monk's logic here does hold up, that at some point Michael Jordan will be so old that he'll have to lose to somebody. But, you know, would you really put your pride on the and reputation on the line to have rumors floating out in the wind that you lost to a 50-year-old Michael Jordan? Because you know that Michael Jordan doesn't have any problem putting that business in the streets. Michael Jordan doesn't have any problems whatsoever putting your noise out there that he beat you. Don't let Michael Jordan beat you if you challenge 50-year-old Michael Jordan. Because he's too competitive. He's too competitive. He will try and beat you. And probably could, and that's the thing. That's a testament, by the way, to the greatness of Michael Jordan. That I'm actually not sure that Malik Monk could beat Michael Jordan. Even though he's younger. And he's younger by a lot. He's younger by a lot. And at 50 years old, I'm still not sure that Malik Monk could just straight up beat Michael Jordan. I don't know. I don't know. And my last story is that John Gruden. That yesterday I talked about John Gruden wanting to make an NFL return. That he said that he thinks about it all the time. He shows up to different teams, different camps, and installs offenses. Well, John Gruden has said today that he, quote, doesn't foresee himself coaching anytime soon, end quote. John Gruden just wanted people to think about him possibly coaching. Let me tell you how this goes. Most guys who coach want to continue coaching. But most guys who coach also don't have championships. Most guys who coach sometimes feel like they leave coaching with a lot to prove. John Gruden went out on top. Right? He won his Super Bowl. And he hasn't really coached since. Right? John Gruden loves being around the game of football. John Gruden, I don't think, is interested in the stress of coaching. He is always around the game of football. He is a broadcaster now. Right? He gets to still coach a little bit because people let him show up and coach. He does his QB camp over on the 4-letter where he gets to coach the players in some drills. So John Gruden gets to do everything that makes him feel like a coach without the one important thing that comes with being a coach. The stress of winning and losing. That's the one thing about being a coach that nobody wants. The stress of winning or losing football games. I'm John Gruden. I'm not exactly clamoring for that either. I'm not exactly fighting for those glory days where people have high expectations of me and then maybe my team's not reaching expectations. Because John Gruden, his all-time coaching record, he's only got 10 more wins than losses. It's not like John Gruden was this marvelous, super spectacular coach. We've just eulogized him to the point where, yeah, we remember him as being a greater force of coaching than he actually was. John Gruden's only Super Bowl championship comes from him coaching against the team that he built. Therefore, he knew all their weaknesses. Ask John Gruden to do it again. John Gruden doesn't even want to prove it again. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Remember, folks, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you all in 24 hours.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton.